Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I tell you, we got a magnificent show coming your way today. And you know, we toward in the middle of the holidays. Our New Year is approaching, and I tell you, this been a wonderful, wonderful year. But in 2024, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So we got a few friends here to talk about 2023 and all the goodness and happiness that we're going to have in 2024. But I can't even start anything without bringing on the executive producer and the co-host. How are you doing, Dr. Michelle Cooley?
I'm doing great. Yeah, the year's coming to an end, and there's just so many things to think about in 2023 going into the new year. And it just seems to go by so fast. I think the older we get, the years go by faster. When you're a kid, it just creeps by because you're in school and you can't wait till school's over. Well, we're excited about the guests that we have today just to chime in this conversation. So, the title of the show is Happiness and Joy in 2024. And audience, you want to be part of this conversation, whatever streaming platform you're on, please send in your questions, comments, things you want to share with us, things you want to ask our panel today, our guests. So we're really excited. Are we ready to go, James?
Yeah, can you introduce this absolutely wonderful panel?
Okay, so we have cognitive behavioral coach, keynote speaker, author, and advisor, Dr. Michael Mantell, financial consultant, owner of Goldsmith Financial, Joshua Goldsmith, military veteran, television host, best-selling author, and transformational speaker, Dr. Stacy Bullock, management and business consultant, Tim Grant, founder and chief vision officer of Corporate Heart International, author, international speaker, and program director for the International University of Entrepreneurship, Dr. Pauline Crawford. And we're going to be discussing what does happiness and joy really mean, celebration of achievements and challenges in 2023, habits and affirmations to incorporate in our lives, and why resilience is important when it comes to happiness and joy. So welcome to the show, everybody.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Oh, gosh, we're so glad that you are here. So happiness and joy in 2024. James Cooley, of course, made up that title because it kind of rhymes.
And we also picked this panelist because each one of these individuals that are here have been such a major part in my life in 2023. Tim toward the end. God just got a way of putting people on the right path, crossing each other, and, just bringing joy in your life. So I'm so excited to have each and every last one of you on the show today. And we're going to dive right off into this because it's happiness and joy in 2024. But before we start, I'd like to ask a quick question that's not on the panel sheet. I want each one of you all to take about 35, 40 seconds and tell me what are you most thankful for in 2023. Let's start with you, Dr. Michael Mantell.
Thanks very much. Well, I would be, first of all, I want to thank the both of you for having me as part of your show so frequently in 2023. I'm thankful for that. I'm also very grateful, obviously, for my family, my wife, our children, our grandchildren. And I will tell you that above all, I'm thankful for health and the hand from above that keeps us all healthy. So those are things that I'm thankful for.
What about you, Dr. Pauline?
Well, it's interesting. I agree with you, Michael. Family is so important. My family is thousands of miles away on the other side of the planet in England because I live in Las Vegas. And I was grateful to actually go and visit them this November, although it was extremely cold, but it was very warm to be hugging with my two kids, grown-up kids and my grandkids and my siblings. So I'm really grateful for that. But I think the whole year it's been about meeting amazing people. And JC and Michelle, you are definitely up on the top of that mountain list. And climbing the mountain, 2003 has been quite quite an up and down mountain, I would say. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned in the dips as well as at the top of the mountain.
Thank you, Dr. Crawford. What about you, Dr. Bullock?
You're
You're on mute. Dr.
You're
Bullock?
I apologize for that. I reiterate the sentiments about the panel, especially Doctors Mantell and James Cooley. We are now family. They cannot get rid of me. And family is not always blood type. So I'm extremely grateful to be able to use that word in our connection. And one of the things that I'm most grateful for is actually discovering the strength and the abilities that I possess, that God has given me to impact people on this earth. And so I'm extremely grateful for that. In 2023 was a major explosion. So thank you.
Thank you. What about you, Josh? What are you grateful for this year?
Oh, thanks for having me on the show too. I appreciate it. I don't want to sound like everyone else, but I definitely am very thankful for being on the show. What I'm most grateful for, what a difficult question. I mean, I have to reiterate health. I mean, without health, we can't help anybody else. That's kind of the reason why when the masks come down, and you're on a flight, they tell you to put on the mask first and then help your significant other or children and family. I can't stress it enough. But also the ability to the belief that knowledge and enlightenment will overcome ignorance and despair.
Thank you, Josh. Tim, what are you grateful for this year?
Well, I'm going to add to Josh. I thought Josh, being the financial guy, was going to come in and say that he was grateful for a Dow of north of 37, a NASDAQ of 15,000 plus, and that probably he and I share a little disappointment in the S&P didn't quite hit 5,000, but the year isn't over.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, that's right, John. Not over yet. At the risk of sounding like everyone else, I'm going to just pick up on what Dr. Mantell said. I'm most happy for my recovery. I just had my 6th year visit with the good people at the Morris Cancer Center and the campus of UCSD, and I got my sixth consecutive year of get out of here, I'll see you in another year, which is the best news I could hear, and I'm grateful for that journey from stage 4 metastatic melanoma, where most were telling me I had 90 days. And Dr. Daniels, Greg Daniels, saw that just a little bit differently. So I'm forever grateful for that. Family, most of the time, friends, usually always, faith, consistent. And the fact that we all get to spend another year apparently making the same trip around the sun together and growing up all over each other. And that's what I'm grateful for.
Wow. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to throw this question out there. So the title of the show is Happiness and Joy in 2024. Joy, happiness. I was talking to James about it a couple of days ago. Happiness to me is an emotion. It's based on circumstance. Joy is everlasting, that despite your circumstance, you can still feel joy. So my question, I'm going to start with you. I'm going back to you, Josh. In what ways do you intentionally going to incorporate joy in your daily life in the coming year?
The Grinch brings me joy. Okay. I love the Grinch. How am I going to incorporate joy? As far as wanting to incorporate joy, I first discovered what it was when my daughter was born. And it was like this runaway feeling, my heart palpitations, just seeing her for the first time and being around her and knowing that love, like God came down and ripped part of my heart out, put it outside of my body in this other human being. And so I want to follow that and try and find ways that I could, add to the my daughter's life and be in each other's lives. Not only that, but it's like, in the little things as well. I mean, when you're enjoying small things, I mean, it takes a lot. Everything affects your overall mental health. And so if we're enjoying the small things and acknowledging the small things, like a good meal or a good conversation or a good workout, those things contribute to how you're going to be treating other people along the way. And so for this year, I'm going to be working on the little things in my life to help make me a better, more rounded person.
Thank you, Josh. Dr. Mantell, in what ways are you incorporating joy in your daily life for the new year?
Well, you distinguish between joy and happiness very, very well. Joy is a more intense feeling, a deeper feeling. It's not dependent on things external. Like happiness is about having. So, and joy is about being. So what I like to think about is like, what do I have? And I'm sure I'm happy about the things that I have, and even sometimes the things I don't have, because that could be protection. But I like to think about the inner feeling, the meaning that I have when I take a walk outside with my wife, connecting with other people, with friends, enjoying a dinner. That to me is the way I like to create joy, this inner feeling, not the external, but the internal. The external is wonderful. It's great to have a beautiful car, beautiful home, all our clothes, but that's fleeting. What lasts are these more meaningful opportunities when we sit with awe and look at something, the lights of Christmas that we had, the beauty of people just being friendly and seeing that internal essence. That's for me true joy.
Wow. Well put, doctor. Well put. We're going to take a station break. We're going to come back and we're going to hear from the other panelists. And I'll tell you what, happiness and joy in 2024, that should be your motto, I believe. I think I'm going to coin that phrase, so we're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back and we're going to pick it back up. And I tell you, remember, it's your life and you have to be happy. See you shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like a magnet, we're just
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, just enjoying the segment, the opening segment. Absolutely fantastic. We're getting ready to dive deep into this. We're getting ready to see what's type of happiness and joy that our panelists, well, hoping and expecting to have in 2024. But I want to pass that back over to Michelle so she can finish getting everybody else's opinion and their thoughts on the question that she asked. So you got it, Michelle.
Well, this is a new question, but it's based on happiness and joy. So Dr. Pauline Crawford, basically everybody, just to think about this. So balancing your work and your family life. Yes, people need to work to make a living, but when you don't really know your family because you're so busy at work, or you're out of touch with family because you're so busy working, it can get a little bit dicey. So, Dr. Pauline, and in terms of joy, how do you balance your work life with your family life?
Well, that's an excellent question. I'd like to bring something in here, a little bit of magic. Okay, this is my magic wand, and I think it's about, maybe it's changing the words. Work is not necessarily work; it's a meaning and purpose. So if we have a meaning to our life, I don't see my work as separate to my life, and I interact with my family because my family's all grown up now. It's different to the attention I gave them when I was younger and they were younger. So I see that if we have a mission and a purpose, instead of thinking of it as work and home, and then we embrace what I call magical conversations. So I have magical conversations with my clients. I also have magical conversations with my family. And my granddaughter, she just posted a picture of her dancing on her toes in ballet shoes. She's 13, and we're having a conversation on WhatsApp. And then she's gone to bed, and I'm doing some work. So we live in this beautiful, magical world where if we are doing everything on meaning and purpose, I think we can embrace it with love and joy and happiness. And the key is keeping smiling, even when the journey is tough. So if we keep smiling, then the journey becomes less tough. And we can say, yeah, I made it. I made it to the top of this mountain. So I think it's changing the words, changing the narrative.
Thank you, Dr. Crawford. Tim, how important is it to you to balance business and family life? And how does that incorporate the title of joy?
Well, when I was back in graduate school, one of the professors back in the, I think, mid 90s had coined this phrase, middle laning. And I never really understood what that meant. Because to me, if you were walking in the middle of a freeway and you were middle laning, you'd get hit by both, side view mirrors of the same truck. So it never made any sense to me. But this thing about work-life balance, I get it. But, in a way, it's kind of hard to manage with the technology because we think we have ready access to everybody. And so problems that a few years ago, could be, we'll deal with it tomorrow morning, now turns into a text or a page or or something like that. And so, technology makes us readily accessible, 24 hours a day. I asked some of my friends whose lifestyle is really makes this more problematic: first responders, doctors, nurses, law enforcement, military, and the list goes on, where they're working and very often away from their home, from their home and their family. So I'm not really sure yet. I don't know that I've resolved that, other than I like to think I can turn off the electronics and ask my kids to do the same at 8:00 at night. We're not brain surgeons. We don't need to get called in, so we can turn them all off and set them aside and enjoy some time. So I think it's more that, but I am personally very disturbed about what social media, has done to kids in this generation, particularly, in the last 5 years. So I'm struggling with that one, even at home.
Wow. So Dr. Bulluck, how do you balance professional life with your family life?
Well, I'm with Dr. Pauline. My children are adults now. So my grandchildren, one is 15 and one is 6. So they're heavily into the technology era. So I find myself sending messages to my granddaughter to keep her encouraged. And actually, the encouraging messages that I send her usually hit me first. So I get a burst of joy from it. I put it this way, I get a burst of happiness from it because, yes, happiness means something has to happen. But the joy gets ignited when someone does something to show love. And I believe that I utilize the technology world to still show love, and not just to my grandchildren, my daughter, my son, to the people who listen to me, to the people who like to hear what I say in the coaching world. And, so I find it sometimes convenient.
Mhm,
And then I still have to balance that though with, how can I say, ingenuity, creation,
mhm.
because the people that I reach, the people that listen to me and I talk to, and they, get some wisdom tools from me, I still need to make sure that what I'm saying to them is genuine and coming from my perspective of joy and of the journey called life. So I balance it that way between authenticity and the things that are here for us to use that fall in our lane.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. Meaningful connections. It is so important to nurture and maintain relationships, connections with your family, friends, even within your community. And, you know, I'll be the first one to admit that, sometimes when we watch entertainment, you hear all these stories, so and so, this celebrity did that, or this sports person did this. One time I said to myself, well, that's nice, but that doesn't really affect my life. So I'm saying that because sometimes we can get caught up in the world stuff and other people's business, which really has nothing to do with our business. So here's the question. I'm going to start off with Dr. Mantell and Joshua. How do you nurture and maintain meaningful connections with your friends, your family, and your community? So I'm going to start off with both of you.
At the same time here? Go ahead, Dr. Mantell.
Now I want to go. You can start. I'm sorry. You start first, Dr. Mantell.
Okay. Well, I turn to Josh. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
I guess.
It's a good question. I think that I want to just come back and say that if one of the most popular words today, the trending word today, is authentic or authenticity. We heard it used just a moment ago, Dr. Bullock. I think that for me, it's about being authentic, whether I'm working with clients, patients, whether I'm giving a lecture, whether I'm here with you, whether I'm on the phone with our grandkids, with my wife, it doesn't matter. Being the same person at work and in quote unquote life. Work is part of my life. Strong social connections are essential for happiness. Making time for family, for friends, for community, for loved ones, building meaningful relationships, sitting at a coffee shop right outside of my gym after we work out and chatting with folks. These are not my good friends, but that chat is very important. Helping others. If I win the lottery ticket, I'm going to be very happy, but I'll be joyful by how I can help others with the money that we win. So helping others, doing acts of kindness, releases all kinds of feel-good hormones. Being active, exercise releases endorphins. That has mind-boosting effects. Living in the present, not dwelling on the past or worrying too much about the future. All we have is the gift of now. That's why we call it the present. Celebrating small wins. These are all external kinds of activities. Gratitude internally, challenging any negative thoughts I have and replacing them with the word regardless. That's happening regardless. I can still be okay. And challenging my catastrophizing, my magnifying the negative. These are I have a whole basket full of ways that I can do it. I want to hear what Josh has to say though.
Okay.
Yeah. Michelle, you want to give me a little refresher on the subject? No,
Okay. Meaningful connections. How do you nurture and maintain those with family, friends, and in your community?
Well, I'm in a little different situation, right? I run my own business and I make my own hours. And oftentimes my clients become my very good friends. And so the line between the business and the personal relationships is sometimes skewed a little bit. And so, I've got to be careful that, hey, is this business or is this personal? So, I'm walking a thin line, but I built my life the way that it is now. And as we all have, but, intentionally worked very hard to get there. And I love what I do. So even when it's all business, it's still a very personal, meaningful experience for me as I go through my daily activities. I mean, it's just, I sit down and it's just second nature. I'm just working, and it's not work to me. This is the slow time of year for my business. And so I'm trying to spend more time with my wife, and to try and get closer and become better friends. And that's pretty much it. Is that something that you thought I would say, Dr. Mantell? Or
Absolutely. You said it exactly the way I wrote it for you.
Appreciate it.
Well, I like your friend. And I think Dr. Cooley's going to take us to a break.
Yeah. Hey, this is fun. This is very fun. We got to take a station break, and we're going to come back. You see Josh holding up the Grinch. But we're going to take a station break. We're going to come back. We're going
to make a highlight reel.
So wherever you are at, whichever platform you're watching us on, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comment section. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break. Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and wow, this these discussions that we having today are powerful, energetic, funny. But that's what joy and happiness is all about. Especially when you're building that foundations for what to expect, what the expectations are for the upcoming year, because in about 3 days, 2023 is going to be over. And I think we have to have a forward-looking path where we just have to make plans. I know a lot of people don't like New Year's resolutions or anything like that, but you still have to have goals. And you have to have goals and dreams, and you have to have expectations to go out and just create a better you, and also people that are around you that you love and that you cherish and that you're going to bring joy and happiness to by sometimes it's being that shoulder to lean on when everybody's not always feeling happy that day. So, but see, I want to pick it up with that, 2024.
Okay.
What are your
Well,
expectations? I'm asking you a question this time.
you asking me a question? Oh, what's the question?
I
What's
can
the
tell.
question?
I can tell when she's nervous. Hey, Michelle, what is your goals and expectations for the coming year?
My goals and expectations really are not to kind of take ownership on how I handle situations. You always hear like people say, "Oh, this person, I reacted this way because this person said this, or this person did this, or I'm in this situation, etc., etc." But that person does not have control over you. It's all about how you respond to things. So my goal is really to kind of put myself in check on how I respond to things, and why I respond a certain way. And even if I find out why, I don't want to put myself in a situation, because honestly, the way you respond, if you respond negatively, it can affect your mental and physical health, and it could just really mess up your day. It really can, because sometimes it's really not worth it, and you just gotta kind of take ownership of how you have to take ownership about how you respond to things. And that's really my goal. And another my goal is to spend more time with my mom. She lives in New York, and I go up there as much as I can, but my goal is to bring her to either Texas and California so she can spend some time with us as well. So that's not even a goal. That's something that's gonna happen. So that's really important to me, because she's my only living parent, and that's really important to me to do that. But I'm gonna switch it back to you, James. So what positive affirmations do you incorporate in your daily life to maintain your joy, and that you also will bring into the new year?
First of all, what I do is I wake up. Me and you pray. We do our thing,
Mm-hmm.
and when my back is not hurting, I jump up and I go out and do 6 miles and just clear my head of everything that happened yesterday, last week, last month, and set new goals for that day. And so I believe that has made me a better person. That has allowed me to reason and come up with better solutions, and that's the key. I know Dr. Pauline had mentioned that earlier, and better solutions and what we're going to do in life, and just focus on the things that are important, not only to me but to others, and how in my power, what can I do to help others out, just to bring a smile to their face, and most importantly, to make sure that I'm a better husband every day, and make sure I at least get 3 or 4 smiles from my beautiful wife.
But another goal where I say with both of us have to kind of learn it, not we know this basically logically, is everyone is not going to treat us the way we treat people. You know, sometimes, and I think you feel a little bit more when people don't respond, or they say, not say, they don't do, or they do something that's egregious. You know, yes, we wouldn't do it, but everyone is not like us, and we just have to make our peace with it. Yeah, we can get upset, you know, for the moment, but then just let it go, because that can ruin your everybody's, you know, peace of mind and sensitivity. But I want to go back to our panelists. And I'm going to go with Dr. Pauline, Dr. Bullock, and Tim Grant. So I'm going to give you different ones to think about. Tim, let's start with you. So Tim, I'm going to talk to you about celebrating achievements in the year. Dr. Pauline, I'm going to ask you about acts of kindness that plays in your life. And Dr. Bullock, I'm going to talk about learning and growing, seeking opportunities for personal and professional growth. We spoke to Josh and Dr. Mantell regarding the last segment. So we're going to start with Tim, celebrating achievements. How do you plan to celebrate and acknowledge both small and large achievements in your life, and also going forward, Tim?
Well, I mean, I shared, earlier what, my biggest, near term or most recent, thing to be grateful for is. But, as I'm listening to this, I'm kind of troubled by, and this is where I'm trying to figure out what I can do about this to contribute next year. We talk about joy and happiness, and yet in the world we live in seems to be anything but that, right? Michelle, reading between the lines on your comment that you just asked, James, about people responding to you differently than you would imagine, and in a different way than you would respond to others. I'm reading between the lines on that, but it's joy and happiness, but yet, we're surrounded by political division. We're surrounded by a very inadequate mental health care delivery system that, we see with vet suicides, and we see with, Jimmy Carter, the late Jimmy Carter, wrote in his book, Our Endangered American Values. He talks about the fact that for so long we've not talked about religion or politics and now we've gotten to a point where we can't talk about religion and politics with each other, or anything else for that matter on which we might disagree, without becoming disagreeable to the person with whom we're speaking. And so, while my wife and I contribute to the Anti-Defamation League and Southern Poverty Law Center and ACLU, and will continue to do so, I guess I'm looking forward to try to celebrate. I'm looking forward, Michelle, to answer your question. In what ways can I celebrate by example, or by actively being more actively involved, not just by mailing a check in, but actually having skin in the game on some of these things that will, in a much more personal way, maybe contribute to, start in the neighborhood, start in the small town that I live in. But it's so discouraging to see what is taking place or not taking place, or more, said another way, what is still taking place. And it's really hard to try to live in your own bubble of joy and happiness when you have to go out in the world and you deal with these issues. And so I'm going to try to spend next year figuring out how I can get more actively involved in I'll go back to Michael Jackson's The Man in the Mirror, right? You start with the man in the mirror. Mm-hmm. What can I do differently, right? What, because it isn't enough. Whatever we're all collectively doing is not enough. And I'm personally tired of the division and the hatred and the discrimination in any form. I'm really concerned for our humanity and the family of, the family of humanity globally. And I see it in my small town, and I don't think I personally can experience the full, ration of joy and happiness in my own life when I see misery around me.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. Dr. Pauline, what roles do acts of kindness play in your life?
Well, I think kindness is the way forward. And I'd love to pick up on what you said, Tim, because I agree. I'm always saying in my posts and my stories that why are we wasting so much time arguing? Right. We waste so much time arguing. And I say, if you've got two polar opposite people, they're the same. And people say to me, well, they got different content. I said, yeah, but they're both polar opposites. So they're stuck in their polar opposites. we have to get into what I call magical conversation. So I'm very passionate about authentic harmony and the power of connecting human beings so that we have, instead of the electricity grid, we have this kindness grid, which comes when we, so to speak, dance together. And we dance together in conversation, in music, in literally dancing, in hugging. So when I create magical conversations, there's a serious intention. And the first rule is no judgment. So when you're sitting in this circle, and we could have the two sides in the war sitting and if you said no judgment, share from your experience and listen, and don't get angry and don't leap on anybody and control the outcome, because we need to seed what is going on between us. So turning arguments into kindness. And kindness is actually a business value. When you have a culture, a work culture, which is where I work with clients, of kindness, you get great clients, you get loyal clients, you get into the marketplace as known for your kindness. And kindness needs to be internal in each individual, but also within your workforce. So kindness is such a simple, basic action. Smiling at somebody in the supermarket. Oh, can I open the door? The classic stuff. As Dr. Mantell said, the small stuff. We get so embroiled in the big stuff that we're all arguing about in the world. And it's terrorizing us, and it's making us all sick. We don't want to watch the news. So kindness is a business value, a personal value, and it's as simple as loving yourself and being kind to yourself. You have to be kind to yourself first. And that's where joy and happiness and kindness, gratitude, respect has to be universal. So our challenge, I also want to pick up on what you said, Michelle, is that, do you know difficult people? Yes, everybody knows a difficult person. But when you're in a difficult situation, you're also difficult. So I would say there's no such thing as a difficult person. It's a difficult situation. So my presence in the world in 2024 is to get into really serious topics without judgment. So obviously serious things like elimination of violence, something I work with, but arguments, discrimination, anything where we hurt each other, let's sit in a circle of no judgment and listen and contribute. And if we hear something we don't like, just say, that's a very interesting perspective.
Thank you.
Pause. And
Thank you, Dr. Crawford. I think we have to take a break now, but we're gonna come back with Dr. Stacy Bullock, talk about personal professional growth, and then we're gonna bring all the panelists. We're gonna just do a lightning rod and just ask them a couple of more questions. James, I'll bring us to break.
Well, I almost don't want to take part.
We gotta take a break.
This is so great, and I tell you what, whichever platform you're watching this on, I know you're enjoying this just as much as we are. Want to be part of the conversation, not too late. Remember, it's your life. Get out there, just like Dr. Mantell just put down. And I'm going to say this, and we're going to take the break, is go. Get out and look. Get out and pursue. Get out and do. We'll be back shortly after the break.
Fight again. And if you want my opinion, I'll let it take me away. Only relief is the four on the floor and the crowd that goes, turn it up, 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 turn it up.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. one that keeps us close when we're apart, talking from the darkness.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, this is a remarkable panel. Each one of them was handpicked by yours truly. And this panel is so great, and the conversation that we're having is so important that I think that everyone should be involved in this, and also should be thinking about what makes you happy, what brings you joy, how you gonna continue to do that, how you gonna bring joy to others, and how you gonna be the best person in 2024 as you can be. I think all of those questions is one that we have to ask ourselves, and we have to figure out what some of the answers are going to be. And this panel right here, just like I said, is absolutely fantastic. Love them all. And I'm gonna turn it back over to Michelle because we got about 9 minutes left in the show. So, Michelle, you got it.
Dr. Bullock, talk about personal and professional growth in 2023, and how do you plan to continue that in the new year?
Well, I really liked what everyone was pointing towards, and that is helping others. And not just helping others by providing them a service. So for me, I want to help others more by just being, how can I say that? So they can see the example. So I want to be the example. One of the leadership principles I always remember in the military is that we should set the example. And so I want to set the example of someone who is not going to fly off the handle just because things don't go the way I think they should, or someone has said or done something that could possibly have a negative impact. Matter of fact, my last poem that I wrote, then I did at a spoken word, was called "I Came to Change the Narrative." So I am coming to be the example, to be the demonstration of what a changed story looks like. And so being able to grow and develop in my demonstration of having positivity in the earth and showing love and kindness, and not just saying the words, but being the word, because it is so needed, from so many perspectives, that we are going to have to figure out how to be different. And in being different, we make something happen. So then we bring others happiness. I may not be able to give you joy, but I can give you a reason for you to seek more joy in your life, because there are some emotionally unstable people in the earth right now, and we have to do our part. And I think demonstration is the best way to grow and to learn on my journey and be able to make that tangible for somebody else.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. Joshua, we're going to go through a lightning round. Let's go quick, different topics. So, Joshua, in what ways do you see this expression, "Don't let let nobody steal your joy"? Don't let anybody steal your joy, regardless. So my question to you is, how do you keep your joy despite things that are going on in the world that you cannot control?
45 seconds or less.
Well, controlled outbursts. I'm a Grinch. All right, you gotta remember, we have to acknowledge we're living a duality. Okay, we have to acknowledge that there is negativity in the world, and if we are emanating the light, and we know that we're coming from a place of goodness, of kindness, of strength, of love, we can acknowledge the other side in a healthy manner and kind of get it out there and just spew it, and just because it's inside of us, and to deny it is to just to deny ourselves. So it's a matter of overcoming the darkness and these obstacles, these challenges that God has put in our path, that make us a stronger and more fulfilled person.
Thank you, Josh. Dr. Mantell, how important is cultivating resilience in terms of happiness and joy?
I think it's the foundation, and I will tell you that I think it rests on a number of key thoughts. One, I don't demand, insist, expect, believe that things should or must be my way. I prefer that things be different. I prefer people behave differently, but I'm not going to disturb myself by demanding that you be the way I think you should be. I also recognize that when you don't act the way I like you to, not that I think you must, that I don't think it's horrible. It's bad, but it's not awful. If I awfulize too much, then I get myself wound up, and then I can't be helpful. And I certainly don't think I can't stand this. I can't tolerate this. I can't bear this. Of course I can. I just don't like it. And when I think those ways, I certainly bring myself back down and am available to be of more help to others. But I think that demanding, awfulizing, and low frustration tolerance is eroding our daily lives.
Thank you, Dr. Mantell. Tim, letting go. What are your thoughts on? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say. I said, please don't call on me after Dr. Mantell. Please don't call on me after Dr. Mantell.
I'm calling on you.
I know.
45 seconds or less. Letting go of negativity.
I yield the microphone. I agree with Dr. Mantell. He said it better than I could, but I think that's a fine balance. And also what Josh said, we can't deny it. We live in it. So as Dr. Mantell said, if you put Joshua's perspective and Dr. Mantell's perspective, it's there, it's reality, may not be preferred. So how do I deal with it without consuming myself? And if you put those two together, that's my answer.
Thank you. Dr. Crawford, 45 seconds or less, pursuing your passions.
Definitely pursue your passions and always be your best. So I'll give you an acronym for best. Be extraordinary starting today. Take it in the moment. Be in the moment. Be extraordinary starting now. I'm going to make some t-shirts with that on because it's very simple. We've got to be in the moment, and we won't like everything. There are nasty things happening in the world. We have to take them on the nose and live in the moment and be kind to ourselves.
Right.
Thank you.
Stiff upper lip.
Dr. Bulluck, thoughts. Stop living in the past. Forgive yourself, forgive others, move on. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. Move on. It's over. What can you do about it? You can't change it. So you might as well pick yourself up, smile, and keep going.
Thank you. James Cooley, what about just enjoying life and always seeking and always expecting the best, but being okay when your expectations is not coming forth?
Acceptability, first of all, in oneself. The only way you can truly enjoy life, in my opinion, is you have to accept who you are, understand who you are, and really identify the negatives and the positives. That makes up you, and that's your package. And I believe that once you accept those things and you see others as, everybody is lovable, everybody is a person, ain't nobody done anything to you. You have to treat them with respect, but it's always starts with you. Now, so Michelle, you got 30 seconds, the closing remarks on here, and then we have to end the show.
The closing remarks is that, this year is coming to a close. 2024 is beginning. And I just say, take it one day at a time, but always have a goal. We're not on this earth just to have fun. And, it's about helping people. It's about using the gifts that God is giving you to help people. It's not just about you. Yeah, he wants you to be happy and enjoy a fruitful life, but fruitful life is giving of your time and your wisdom to help people.
Wow. I want to thank each and every last one of you for making this show right here. I mean, I'll tell you, it's beautiful. I think we have to get together and do this more often. You know, we have to spread the gift of love, understanding, most importantly, respect. So I want to thank each and every last one of you. I want to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another, I don't know how she's doing everything, another outstanding show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and the listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Always, always, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Is your life. See you.